Hi, Divine Souls. I'm truly grateful you're here with me in Oriah Divine Sanctuary, a space dedicated to healing, awareness, and spiritual alignment. If this video has appeared in your life today, trust that there may be a message here meant specifically for you. If the words shared here resonate with your spirit, I encourage you to like, share, comment, and subscribe so we can continue building a community centered around truth, healing, and higher consciousness. Earlier today, during meditation, I allowed myself to slow down, to breathe, and to simply be present. And in that quiet space, I began to tune into the energetic frequency of the collective, sensing what many people may be navigating on their spiritual journeys right now. And from that awareness, this message emerged. Breaking generational patterns is one of the most courageous and misunderstood forms of healing because from the outside, people often think you're simply making different choices. But from the inside, it can feel like you're rewriting everything you once believed was normal. You begin questioning patterns that have existed for years, sometimes decades, sometimes generations. Patterns like, avoiding difficult conversations, suppressing emotions, people pleasing to maintain peace, confusing control with love, normalizing criticism and shame, tolerating disrespect, refusing accountability, sacrificing your well being to meet everyone else's needs. Many of these behaviors began as survival strategies. People did what they knew, they adapted to the circumstances they were given, and often they passed those patterns down, not always out of malice, but out of familiarity. The problem is that what is familiar is not always healthy, and eventually someone decides, it stops with me. That's where the journey of becoming a cycle breaker begins. Psychologically, breaking patterns can be deeply uncomfortable. Your nervous system is wired toward familiarity, even when familiar patterns create pain. So when you choose boundaries instead of people pleasing, honest communication instead of silence, therapy instead of denial, rest instead of over functioning, self respect instead of self sacrifice, it may initially feel wrong, not because it is wrong, but because it is new. You may experience guilt, loneliness, resistance from others, even self doubt, because changing your role within a family or community often changes the entire system. People may accuse you of being selfish, difficult, different, or disloyal, but healing asks an important question. Are you being disloyal to others, or are you finally being loyal to your well being? Spiritually, breaking generational patterns isn't about blaming previous generations, it's about choosing awareness. It's acknowledging that pain may have been inherited, but it doesn't have to be repeated. It means honoring your history without becoming imprisoned by it. God's word says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Transformation begins in the mind. You start noticing thoughts that no longer serve you, beliefs rooted in fear, stories built on shame, expectations that require your suffering, and you begin replacing them with truth. You learn that love does not require losing yourself, that boundaries are not rejection, that emotions are information, not weakness, that accountability is not condemnation, that rest is not laziness, and perhaps most importantly, you learn that healing is possible. One of the greatest freedoms that comes from breaking generational patterns is becoming the person you once needed, the safe place, the honest voice, the compassionate presence, the one who apologizes, the one who listens, the one who chooses differently. You become living proof that cycles can end. And while the journey isn't easy, the freedom it creates is profound. Freedom to love differently, freedom to parent differently, freedom to communicate differently, freedom to trust yourself, freedom to create relationships rooted in respect instead of fear. So if you're breaking patterns that have existed for years, be patient with yourself. You are doing sacred work. You are choosing healing where there was hurt, peace where there was chaos, truth where there was denial. Your courage may not change the past, but it can absolutely change the future, because the most powerful legacy you can leave behind isn't perfection, it's freedom. And sometimes freedom begins with one brave person deciding, what happened to me may be part of my story, but it will not become someone else's inheritance. Divine souls, thank you for stepping into Oriah Divine Sanctuary. This space exists to support your healing, elevate your awareness, and guide you through the sacred process of personal transformation. Here, you are safe to grow spiritually, emotionally, and authentically, and it is truly an honor to share this journey with you. Always remember, awareness begins the healing, but your transformation begins the moment you choose to honor your voice. Until we meet again, continue walking in truth, protecting your peace, and letting your divine light shine.